Career transitions can be difficult, whether you're a new graduate looking to enter the workforce or you've been working for a while and want to pivot in a completely new direction. It can feel exciting and scary at the same time, and that's completely normal. I'm Manisha Dhawan, and I help professionals like you with your leadership and career development. I've navigated multiple careers and industries, having worked in consulting for over 2 decades. So I understand the pitfalls and challenges as you're trying to rebrand and reinvent yourself. Today, I want to share with you 5 tips that you can try out as you're exploring what could be next for you and how to get to where you want to go. As you're going through a career transition, a lot of emotions can come to the surface. Maybe you were let go from your last position and you've lost confidence, or you felt stagnant in your current role and you feel comfortable and change seems scary. Whatever your personal situation is, remember you're not alone and allow yourself to go through the process of growth and discovery to get to where you want to go. The first step is to take an inventory of your strengths, your skills, what energizes you, what really makes you come alive. Often we may forget what those are because we're moving from one accomplishment to the next, and we don't give ourselves credit and take a step back to celebrate those moments. Think about, when do you feel like you're in your element, when time just seems to go by? What problems are you solving? What kind of advice are you giving? These can be clues into your skills and strengths. An assessment that I recommend is Clifton Strengths, and that will show you some of your top strengths, how you can capitalize on them, what makes you unique in each of those areas, and what some watch-outs potentially might be. So when you're doing that internal assessment, again, think about your strengths, your skills. Come up with 3 success stories where you've really hit something out of the park. You've made an impact. Some project that you were able to drive through to completion, maybe a team that you managed or a problem that you solved. Think back to those moments and write them down. And write them in this format. It's called the CAR model, C-A-R. The C stands for challenge. What was the challenge that you walked into or the situation? The A is the action that you took to address that problem. And the R was the result or impact. So it's similar to the STAR model. Think about 3 cars, 3 success stories where you came in and made an impact. After you've done the internal assessment of your skills and your strengths and what really makes you come alive, now do an external assessment of the marketplace. What's happening in the world around you? What are companies struggling with? What are organizations facing right now? What are they challenged with? How can you come in and potentially solve some of their most pressing problems? Do your research the companies, maybe identify your top 5 or 7 target companies that you'd love to work for or learn more about. As you're doing your research, you can use LinkedIn as a powerful tool to find people that work at each of your target companies and set up coffee chats or informational interviews just to get a sense of what it's like to work there, what made them successful, and learn more about them. Remember, as you're connecting with people, try to give back as well and offer a way to support them too. As you're doing an internal assessment of yourself, your skills, your strengths, and an external assessment of the market and what companies are looking for, you might uncover some gaps. So now you really want to think about a potential plan to create for yourself, a learning plan to bridge those gaps. That could include taking a course. It could be a micro-learning environment too, where it's just 2 days or 2 weeks. It doesn't have to be a full investment into a degree. But take a moment just to be curious and learn about the subject matter and see if it's an area that you're interested in. The third step is to bridge the story. Whether you are a new graduate and you don't have a lot of work experience, or you've been in the same role for a while and you want to pivot to something completely new, it's all about how you tell your story. As an example, a new graduate, you still have experience working on classroom projects with your peers. Maybe you've had an internship or you've had some leadership or volunteer experience. Think about those stories and about how you were able to bridge those skills across that experience. If a role, for example, requires project management skills, think about a time where you led a project or managed a project, no matter how big or small, Again, it's about those transferable strengths and skills and what you're able to bring to the table. These are the skills that companies are going to really value and look for as emerging technology and new change comes into the forefront. They're going to need people like you, leaders that are resilient, agile, flexible, can solve problems creatively, can collaborate across different groups, are inclusive of others. So think about your people-centric skills and how you can tap into them to set you apart and set you up as a leader. The fourth piece of advice that's critical is to continue to network. And sometimes the word networking can elicit feelings of dread. Maybe you're more introverted and networking feels like a lot of work. But I encourage you to experiment and to reframe the way you think of networking, more about connecting with others or meeting a friend and putting yourself out there, which can take some courage. As you're networking, remember just to be authentic. People can tell when you're genuine or not. Offer something in exchange, offer to help and say, I'd love to also be a support to you. How can I help you? I'd love to connect with you and learn more about your role and what it is that you do and what your journey has been like and what advice you might have for someone like me. When you're networking, you can meet potential friends, mentors, as well as hiring managers. So come up with a plan that works for you. Maybe your goal is to network or reach out to 5 new people a week, or look at your existing network and see who you might want to reconnect with, somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. Again, the key is about leading with relationships, coming to the table with a genuine desire to connect. And you can't go wrong when you do that. The fifth piece of advice I'll leave you with today is to remain optimistic, to practice patience and compassion with yourself as you're navigating this murky transition period, and try to find those moments where you can get clarity. Use this time to your advantage. Start to build your network, connect with people in the companies that you're interested in or people that could be mentors potentially. Think about how you want to use this time wisely rather than just applying to hundreds of jobs a day. Try to be more intentional and strategic. Again, really understanding and knowing yourself is a key piece to all of this. Knowing what else is out there and how you might be able to play a role and make an impact. So think about the story you want to tell. Look at your skills, your transferable skills. Talk to others. You don't have to do it alone. Seek out support and remain optimistic. You've got this. I've included a link below to an article that details these strategies and provides even more input and insights for you. And I wish you all the best on your journey ahead. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.